And welcome in. It is the Nightcap right here on BearcatJournal.com. Brought to you, as always, by our good friends at Galactic Fried Chicken. Visit www.galacticfriedchicken.com. Download the app for Android, iPhone, everything Galactic. Stop in, visit my guy Shane. Tell him to pump it up, and you will get 15% off of your order. Dave went with the Kelsey order.
Oh, he went with the drumsticks.
Legs. Yeah,
okay.
He went 4 legs. And then the wife had 3 chicken tenders, and they did fried pickles and sides. And
you don't have to go any more on it. I look forward to hearing his review.
We're Wednesday night. We're going to do Wednesday this week for the BCJ pod. Only because apparently the whole family is going to be at Squat Fest.
Love it.
You're coming down?
Yep.
Brent says he's coming down. Dave's going to be there after he drops Will off at daycare. I will be there.
Should be fun.
We'll see if we can bother Mick to stick his head out of Purdue's ass.
The gang's all back.
I'm excited. I think Justin should be there. I don't know if Justin will be there for sure or not, but I think he should be there.
I can't imagine him missing that.
Yeah. So we're gonna have a good time on Friday at Squat Fest. I'm looking forward to it.
I do want to say I grilled out tonight, and
nice.
We were gonna do chicken, then we realized we forgot to thaw the chicken, which it's pretty key.
Well, you want the easy fix to that.
Well, we just ran to Dollar General and picked up some dogs.
You want the easy fix.
What?
Take the frozen chicken and brine it in water.
I suggested that. But
it takes like half an hour and your chicken's thawed.
Yeah. I suggested that, and we were just, because of the 8 o'clock time constraint, we were like, That said, we did dogs, and I don't put anything on my hot dogs anymore except Galactic sauce.
It's just Galactic sauce.
Just put that shit on everything.
Yeah, I feel you. I'm feeling better. I slept till like 3 o'clock today.
Nice.
Well, I slept. I woke up at like 10:30. I did some lunch. I did French bread pizzas, the Stouffer's French bread pizzas.
That's the only way to go. If always go Stouffer's, but
that burn the shit out of your
every time.
Face every time. It's still so good. If it wasn't so good, we would not do it, but we still do it
every time.
Then I went back to sleep. Woke up at 3:30. Went to the store. Did some smoked chicken wings. Hung out with the family for a little bit, and here we go. So I feel like I'm back. Somewhat, mostly in the groove. I got radio tomorrow for Mo. I'm working on a special guest at 3:20. Like as soon as the show starts tomorrow.
Yep.
His first name might start with an L. His last name might start with an F.
Okay. Lisa Frank, like the unicorns and all that. Yeah.
Maybe. Or maybe somebody else with the initials LF. We'll see. So I would get to 1530.com ESPN1530.com/listen tomorrow early in the show. As long as nothing goes wrong. Speaking of Pete Thamel, who is very close to Luke Fickell in the Cincinnati program.
Mm-hmm.
He has done a lot of really good writing and reporting on the Bearcats. He wrote an article last week that I was obviously out of town and we didn't get a chance to talk about this article. So I wanted to talk about it some tonight as part of the Nightcap.
Okay.
You just read it.
I did.
So I would like your thoughts initially on something that is just not normal for UC football. Getting a national profile piece in the summer that puts the program on a pedestal of not the underdog, not like the guy, punching out of his weight class, but instead a program on solid ground, a program with incredible stability, and a program ready to continue to take steps, even though they just saw the biggest mass exodus of players to the NFL in the history of the G5.
So it's kind of like what we talk about all the time, right? Where we know that Coach Luke Fickell has been offered big-time jobs to leave Cincinnati. And he has stuck it out, and he has put himself in a place where he's not vying for the keys to the kingdom anymore. He is the sole proprietor of the keys to
he
the
owns
kingdom.
The kingdom. He lives in the castle.
I mean, for John Cunningham to come out in the article and say that his number one priority was making sure to keep this guy here because he wants to be here. Right. Like, he is the biggest profile at Cincinnati, bar none. There is no one bigger at the University of Cincinnati than Luke Fickell, except for maybe one person. His wife.
Amy runs the show.
But
Amy's the boss.
And I know we talk and we joke about it all the time, but they kind of, it wasn't the Justin Williams, Amy Fickell piece, but they put the spotlight on her as to really what she kind of does to make sure that he's still a person.
Balanced.
Correct.
There's a balance of like, you have to do this. Even though when you are so caught up in something, and I can relate to this just because I'm so Bearcat Journal is my soul, like outside of taking care of Kelly and Kelsey.
Right.
Bearcat Journal is top of mind at all times. I need Kelly to remind me
that you're a person.
Hey,
you're a dad, you're a husband, you're a friend, you're a son. All of these other hats that you wear, if you will.
She asks me all the time, like one of our friends that we know will get pregnant or something. Mm-hmm. And they'll be like, are they having a boy or a girl? And I'll be like, I didn't ask that fucking, I don't know. Like I was talking to my boy. I did not ask whether he was having a boy or a girl, even though I knew he was having a baby. I was like, congrats on the baby.
Chad, it's a girl.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. I'm glad you picked up on that. It's a girl. Aaron's having a girl. Everybody, Aaron's having a girl. Girl, Dad, Aaron. But like, I will tell you the truth. There was a point at the beginning when you just found out.
Yeah.
When she was like, what are they having? I was like, I don't know. I didn't ask him. Did I ever ask you? No.
I don't recall. I was excited.
It's not how my brain works like Luke Fickell. Work. Tell Aaron, congrats on the baby, bro. But never once does it cross my mind, what are you having? How do you feel about that? Are you okay? But like that's not how I work. That's not how you work. Like, that's how Amy Fickell works. And that's how they balance each other out. Because Amy Fickell was like, look, what your staff just accomplished was amazing. And we're taking all those people on vacation. And Luke was like, I don't really want to go. And she was like, you're going? We're going? The kids are staying home?
Mm-hmm. But
we're going to have a good time.
But Luke's built different, right? Like,
right.
I mean,
of course.
Even the very first story in the article where they talk about how his coffee maker, he had Keurig, his coffee maker broke, and he got an espresso machine, and he was like, "This might be too fancy for my office."
I don't like that shit. No, I want coffee.
I mean, I'm taking back to a certain basketball coach who may have coached at Indiana and Georgia and had tanning beds all over campus in any building he would go into. He had to have a tanning bed there.
Oh yeah.
And that's absurdity. But
Luke Fickell doesn't want an expensive coffee machine.
That's the difference, though, between a guy who's high roller and about me and maybe a bit of narcissist, and a guy like Luke Fickell, who, while I think every coach takes a certain level of narcissism, but
ego is you have to have an ego.
It's part of it
to be a great coach.
But that's all part of what goes into charisma as well. Like,
well,
you can't have.
I think So I've been as I've examined Luke and Wes, there has been kind of an interesting like dynamic that keeps reoccurring in my mind.
Okay.
Luke was maybe not the greatest athlete in the world.
Sure.
But he was an exceptional wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
To the point where really he was like the number 2 wrestler in the country
at one point
coming out of high school.
Mm-hmm.
And if he wanted to go to the Olympics, he really had a chance to be one of the best wrestlers in the world. You don't get to that point without a competitive drive that's probably in a lot of ways unhealthy.
Well, I was going to say it's not a normal competitive drive.
Right. That's what the point I'm getting to, right?
Right.
Like, it's probably not like completely sane for the way that a guy like Luke Fickell thinks. Wes Miller walked on at North Carolina,
mm-hmm.
became at one point their starting point guard mm-hmm. as a walk-on, then became an integral piece of a national championship team at North Carolina.
Yeah.
These dudes are wired different.
Yep.
Like, they're not wired. They're not like even a Walt Stewart. Let's use Walt Stewart as an example.
Okay.
Walt Stewart was an elite
athlete,
defensive end,
mm-hmm.
elite athlete, a freak. Was the guy that was, before they found out about his neck, was trending towards first or second round, like high level NFL draft pick.
Mm-hmm.
He has figured out a way to relate that to the kids now. But he was supremely talented.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Luke and Wes were like Luke wasn't a dominant force at Ohio State. He was a starter. He was really good. Like, he made an impact for a lot of good Ohio State teams.
That's still putting you in the top 50 to 100
sure.
people.
Absolutely.
At that position anyway.
But he didn't come in as like a wrecking ball, 5-star, can't miss recruit, is what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
He had to kind of have that burn to get there. Wes kind of had that burn to get there. And now you're seeing that reflect upon the programs that the two of them, that Luke has already built and Wes is in the process of building. And that is something I don't know that the University of Cincinnati has ever really fully experienced at the same time.
Certainly not at the same time, ever.
Right.
I mean, even with Kelly, I guess, maybe. But it was
BK and Mick were here at the same time, but Mick was still digging out from the rubble of everything that happened.
Andy Kennedy and
yeah. We don't have to go through it. And BK was looking for an exit strategy. Yeah, well, I know he says like he wouldn't have left for anywhere but Notre Dame, but trust me.
Family.
The lie detector test determined.
It's family.
That was a lie.
Family, Chad.
Maury opened the thing, and it was a lie.
Yeah. So no, I agree 100% that we're in uncharted waters as we are going into the Big 12, to where kind of getting back to your original point, to where even with 9 players leaving this football program, it's not in shambles. There's a ton of question marks. Littered across the board.
We've done content all summer on all the questions.
Absolutely. But it doesn't feel like you're in dire straits.
Here's what strikes me, and maybe this is the biggest thing. I talked to Luke, Gino, Tressel, Walt, Hitchler, Combs, Nate, like pretty much the entire staff. I don't sense any panic in what they have.
Why would you?
So to pull back the curtain, peel the onion, all the stupid shit that Tony and Austin say on Cincy 360 when they're talking about something. I make fun of them for pull back the curtain, peel the onion, like anyhow. Like last year when we were going through the off season for basketball, I was talking to people close to the program. I was talking to the little birdies that were at Open Gym. And the question was, I don't think we can score. I don't think we are in a position where we have 3-4 options that we can put on the floor at the same time that can score.
Oddly.
Which means
we didn't.
Right. Guess what? Those rumblings were right because the coaches know they're out there doing that every day. And they know the reality. Mm-hmm. When I talk to people about this football team, I don't get the sense that they feel like we can't score
because we
can't stop anybody.
Look at your questions, though, right? Even starting at the most important position on the field, quarterback, you have Ben Bryant, Drats, or Evan Prater, darn.
Right.
Only the prodigal son returning and the best recruit in program history.
Right.
Okay. So yeah, there's question marks, but they're not because you're a lack of depth at the position. It's because you're waiting for who's actually going to emerge.
Right. And that's the big difference. The difference is not we feel like we're going to be bad.
You're not rebuilding after a gutted Tommy Tuberville team.
And they should be gutted, Aaron. They just had 9 guys drafted in the first 6 rounds of the NFL draft. This roster should be gutted.
Chad, even going beyond that, over 30 seniors left.
And the year before, Derek Forrest, James Wiggins, Jared Dokes, James Hudson.
Yeah. Okay.
A program of this level is not supposed to be able to sustain that level of loss.
They're also not supposed to make the college football playoff, and we showed the world.
And what have we talked about the entire time when we talked about what's next? The 3 best recruiting classes in program history, 20, 21, 22.
I think the funniest thing in the article for me was when they talked about Deshaun Pace being the most NFL ready, which sure he is, but they mentioned him as if he was the only one on this team who's NFL ready, and we'll see about that.
We've had those discussions on this podcast as well.
We'll see.
Maybe we'll have it again soon.
Can't wait.
Thank you, sir. It's good to be back. I'll see you tomorrow night. This is The Nightcap, brought to you by Galactic Fried Chicken, right here on BearcatJournal.com.
See ya!